Jackie's here, changing life loving you. Yeah, that's the groove, life loving you. Feel the truth, move, life loving you. It's all we do, come on through, it's just for you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Life Lovin' You. Unfortunately, Dr. Jacquie had an unexpected emergency, so we don't have a new episode for you today. But don't worry, we've got something special just for you. Last week's conversation about potential reminded Dr. Jacquie of a keynote speech she gave a couple of years ago, and we thought this would be the perfect time to share a highlight from it. Take a listen, let us know what you think, and as always, we hope this helps you move closer to your professional, romantic, and personal goals.
And listen in good, because I'm going to talk to you about something that I think is really important. I think is life-changing. And if you can understand what it is that I want to share tonight, it's going to build on tomorrow, but it's going to really get you where you need to be. Now listen, there's a reason why some people are very, very successful and other people are not. I'm going to start off with the teaching of don't watch the movie. And my first step out is talking about potential. Potential. Some of y'all are sitting next to somebody right now because of potential. They told you who they was gonna be, what they were gonna do. It sounded good. You said, sign me up. You married potential. But it's only 20% of the people actually attain their full potential. Because potential is something that's hidden. It's latent, meaning that it's almost like asleep until somebody wakes it up. But when you awaken potential, the greatness that's hidden on the inside, the things of value begin to come out. Are you hearing me? So, potential. So we're talking about the 5 to 10% of the population that make up the nation's wealth. These are people that have tapped into potential and have attained potential. They're not just dreamers. They didn't just have a dream. They didn't just see a vision, but they were people that were able to build it out. See, I want somebody to judge me and tell me something about myself. Because there's a lot of people that want to say, oh, you should do this way, and I didn't like the way you did that. But tell me if you can have a vision that's on paper and take it off paper. Build something that's written in words and make it come to life, right? So, potential. They've learned to build out what they saw on the inside. Now, the word potential, it says possible as opposed to actual. That's according to Merriam's. Capable of becoming or being, potential, is derived from the word potent. Potent, which means powerful, a latent excellence, or ability that may or may not be developed. That may or may not be developed. So your potential, the only thing you got to worry about is, am I going to be able to develop it? You're powerful. You're potent, full of promise. In these earthen vessels are invested riches, right? Wealth. But it may or it may not be developed. You know what's so funny is anytime you talk to a child, I believe every child, by the time they're 5 or 6 years old, they know who they are. And they don't know who they are through an edited version. They haven't watched the movie. Nobody's already told them that they cannot. So you can ask a child, what are you going to be when you grow up? They'll say, I'm going to be an astronaut. And you'll be like, oh yeah, and a teacher. And you're like, an astronaut and a teacher? First of all, that just sounds like two different areas. Usually a right brain can't be a left brain too. I mean, what is it? But see, a child comes in and he's able to see the greatness that's on the inside of him. It's not siphoned down. He didn't try to put a lid on it. He just believes. And I used to think that, man, the children just say some of anything because they just don't know. But no, what it is that they're lacking vocabulary to really express. And because we're taught in a one-dimensional society that you can only be one thing. How can an astronaut be a teacher? But have you all seen that movie Titanic? Have you seen the movie Avatar? Have you seen the movie, what is it with Arnold Schwarzenegger? I'll be back. Terminator. Well, James Cameron is a scientist, but he's also a filmmaker. Is it starting to illuminate to you now? The child, I want to be an astronaut and a teacher. I'm a teacher, but I don't teach in a classroom. I'm here in Orlando with you. I'm the how-to lady. I am a teacher, but not in the practical sense. A 5 or 6-year-old, they don't have the ability to express all of that. But as long as you can still believe that no matter what faults you might have, no matter what shape, what skin color, what nationality, what religious background you come from, whether you have money or you have nothing, that which is latent on the inside can be developed. It can become, you will be. So let me help you. How do I get you into living this life that you always saw yourself living? Here's the funny thing. It's the things that have already happened to us that have the greatest impact on us becoming who we will become. It's the things that have already happened to us that have the greatest impact. There was a holy man that said this. He said, "This one thing I do, forgetting the things that are behind and reaching to the things that are before me, I press." Why is he pressing? Because he understands that it's a very, very difficult thing to do. You know why it's difficult to forget the things that are behind us? Oh, y'all don't want to know? It's because pain has a long memory. Pain has a long memory. It might hurt, the pain might fade, but it remembers. And it'll have you watching the movie until you psych yourself out, you become paralyzed, or you talk yourself out of your victory. You talk yourself out of the impasse and that argument of that relationship. You talk yourself past believing, asking to get that last slot in this doctoral program or whatever it is because you've watched the movie. Pain is likened unto a scar on the skin. It lets the whole world know that I was here. Pain says I was here because I'm going to leave my mark. And although it might not be in the skin, it's going to be on the soul. And I'm going to make sure that I leave that mark and everybody knows that I was here. And how do you know that pain was in somebody's life? They walled up, they're defensed up. Oh, so I'm the only one? Because you know, I started, anything that I teach, I first go through. So I'm not talking about something I read in a book. I'm telling you about what I have lived and what I'm currently living and what I'm struggling to get behind me. Are you hearing me? Now, I only started to understand what I'm going to teach you tonight late in life. And we don't need to talk about how old I am. But it was late in life. If I had somebody to tell me what I know now 20 years ago, I can tell you right now, I might not, y'all would be watching me on some worldwide satellite because I wouldn't even be able to fit in this little room with y'all. You hear what I'm saying? Because what I see on the inside of me is that great, it's that powerful. I wouldn't even be able to, a room with like 200 people, no baby. You see? But I want you to listen. I don't want you to hear in your spirit what I'm saying to you today. I know that as I'm speaking, there's going to be diverse understandings of what I'm saying because you all have diverse needs. But as I'm saying it, it's going to register here. And trust me, it's going to begin to be watered, and it's going to begin to bring forth a harvest that's going to change your life. I mean, even Paul said he hadn't apprehended yet. So it's a process. What I'm teaching you is a process. You don't drown by falling in a river. You drown by remaining submerged within it. So what I'm teaching you, you're going to get better and better at it, but it's going to be a process. So that's why I'm teaching you how to avoid watching the movie. Now, I remember last year, I talked about trauma, because trauma is that pain that I'm talking about that keeps you from being able to put those things behind you. And I wrote this little booklet, and I gave it out, and I didn't have enough for everybody. Do you know that there were people in the back of the room that were coming up to the front of the room and were trying to buy those booklets from other people? They were offering them money so that they could, obtain those books. So what I understood was the importance of what it is that I'm teaching now. People have been hurt. It's our past that we can't get away from, and it's our past that's getting in our way. It's keeping us from greatness. It's keeping us from fulfilling relationships. It's keeping us from the mountaintop of our dreams, because we cannot outrun pain. Are you hearing me? Trauma, those deep wounds that you have not forgotten about, that if you let your mind think on them, even right now, the emotions just begin to flood your body. And you're right back there. Do you know that the funny thing about the brain is that when you remember something that was traumatic, the same auto responses occur. Your respiration changes, you might start to sweat, your body might start to quit, because you go right back there. So what I've done is I've created a trauma treatment series. I've written a book, and now I've done the video, so it's easy. Because people keep asking me, well, how do I work through it? First of all, you gotta wanna do it, the work. Because it is some digging that you're gonna have to do. It's not like I can just talk about this one time and you're gonna be like, poof. We want deliverance, yes. We wanna be healed, but not all of them happen that way. Plus, you need to be cognizant of what your triggers are, what your defense mechanisms are, how to develop workarounds so that you and your partner know how to deal with one another. Because it's one thing to be delivered, but it's another thing to deal with the habitual and the unconscious behavior patterns. Are you hearing me? Y'all still with me? Okay. So trauma. So this series is simple. It's like 1, 2, 3. I don't write a lot. It's just giving you the steps. And then you'll see the videos where I'm teaching about it. And there has to be like about 8 different steps. So we're dealing with triggers, right? Identifying what they are, your defense mechanisms, talking about how emotions flood your body and how you don't have to go along with your emotions. Most of them are deceitful. Explaining that, helping you to learn how to map your emotions. So do you understand what's coming first, second, and third, right? Understanding how to get rid of strongholds. You know what a stronghold is? A stronghold is an unfailed belief system that's so ingrained that you just can't move beyond it. It colors everything that you do. It's time for transformation. And I make that announcement today. It's time for your transformation. How many more? That's what I'm talking about. How many more broken relationships are you going to have? How much longer are you going to live in fear that the same thing that happened before is going to happen again? How much energy are you willing to put into defending yourself and living as a defense city? Instead of putting that energy into making yourself great. Instead of obtaining the resources. Do you know that each and every person in here is supposed to be wealthy? You're supposed to have enough wealth to develop your gifts and your talents. If you don't have money, I don't care if you got a good arm. You need to go to camp. That costs money. You need to have a trainer. That costs money. You need to have a nutritionalist. That costs money. You might need to be homeschooled so you can have a different training schedule. That costs money. You need to be able to go on the West Coast to train over the summer. That costs money. You are meant to have wealth so that anything that you imagined that was a part of developing the riches, the resources that are latent on the inside of you would be able to be developed.
Hey, Dr. Jacquie here. I'm your how-to lady. How to do life, how to do love, and how to do you, boo. So click, like, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more to come.